Well, the year 2020 brought everybody out of the woodwork. Everybody, a lot of people that didn't go to church before started going to church, and so many people had prophecies. But the question is, are you a false prophet of 2020, or are you still listening to false prophets of 2020? God gave me some dreams before the election, and I'm going to tell you what those are, and you can go back and look at my videos where I laid down and meditated on camera until God spoke to me. I'm laying there for like 45 minutes, and then God tells me, because I said, what do you want me to say to them? But how many thousands of people, let's imagine for a second that God is actually truth, and that if you're following God, you're following the truth. How many thousands of people said that the rapture was going to take place? Actually, probably millions, but I'm just saying thousands. But how many millions of people said that the rapture would take place in the year 2020? You can't listen to those people anymore because their belief is wrong. They believe in Jesus, and I was here before. I do believe in Jesus. But he already did his work. All that was done by the year 70 AD, whenever he came back and destroyed the temple and the man of sin that sat in the temple. That's whenever real Christianity ended, and now God is all in this new world. I've got plenty of videos explaining how Christianity ended in 70 AD. But I used to do that. At one point, I had dreams and visions whenever I was a Bible worshiper. And some things that were just prophecies for my life, dreams and visions, yeah, they might come to pass. But a lot of things did not. Things that you see about the end times and everything, they didn't come to pass. What God told me came to pass about Trump. Did you say that Trump was going to be elected president? Did you say that God told you because thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people said that Trump was going to be elected president and that God told them that? Well, my dream told me something else. And I'm going to tell you about another dream about the balance of power, which is also on my videos. It's in my last few videos because I haven't made videos in a few months. And this was just before the election that I made these videos. But millions of people said the rapture was going to take place, and they were wrong because they need to change their belief or they need to shut up. You can't listen to them anymore. They're liars. What they see is not real because they're not following the truth. They're following Christianity, which already ended, and they're seeing a bunch of things that aren't correct. But me, whenever I asked God, because I follow God only and tell you that Christianity ended, so let's go by the truth. Who told you the truth and who didn't? My dream said, and the reason I believe these dreams so much is because they came to pass, and also because I didn't really understand them. I had a dream where I laid down and meditated until God spoke to me with nothing in my brain, and he spoke to me about the election and Trump and Biden. Well, I'm not really into politics. I don't watch the news much, but because of my dreams, I've watched it a little bit lately. But I usually don't watch the news. But in my dream, he said that people were worshiping Trump above God, and God was upset about this. And they were putting stuff on their teeth. That means to protect their finances. And they were asked a question. They said, is Trump spiritually good? Is he of God? And they were like avoiding the question. They didn't want to answer the question, but they said that he was of God, even though they didn't want to answer that question directly. They said that he was of God, even though he wasn't a good spiritual person. And they needed him to protect their finances. But in the vision, God told me, he said, but what will you do with sleep? And in the vision, I said, sleep. And he said, then he reminded me of how they call him Sleepy Joe Biden. And the Spirit said, Joe Biden. So what will you do with Joe Biden? All of you are putting your trust in Trump as if you needed him. As if you needed him in there instead of following God. Like God couldn't protect you if Joe Biden was in there. And then that night, or the next night, I had another dream. I didn't even know that the balance of power stood for this until I was watching the election. I had this dream before the election. And I didn't know that the balance of power, I know that sounds stupid, but I don't watch the news and I don't pay attention to that stuff. But I even looked it up and I thought it had to do with some kind of international thing, which I said in my video. But God was telling me about the balance of power. Whenever I was watching the election, it said balance of power, talking about who's going to be in the House of Representatives and who's going to be in the Senate. So God told me that Trump wasn't going to be president, that Joe Biden was. And God told me that all it took, I had a dream where everything looked sunny and people thought everything was fine. And they thought that Donald Trump would be president and he was of God and God was supposed to have him in there. And a lot of other people said the rapture was going to take place. You can never listen to these people ever again unless they change their belief. If they have the right belief, then they're going to see the right things. If they're lying to you, saying that God is talking through them, that's like the worst thing that you can do. So if you're one of those false prophets, you need to shut up. A lot of them came to my channel. A lot of them said that the rapture would happen and that I would see, and it would. And I said, hey, come back and talk to me January 1st, whenever it doesn't happen. But my other dream looked all sunny, everything was nice. People thought things were okay, but then God removed all that and showed me behind the scenes. And it was all rickety and barely hanging on. And he said, this is all it takes to shift the balance of power. And he blew on it. And whenever he blew on it, it went, and all of it fell down. And they have the House of Representatives, the Democrats do. They've got the White House. Tell face your whole life reading that Bible. It's all in the Bible. If you believe the words of Jesus and you don't think that he's a liar, and if you believe the words of the apostles and you don't think that they're lying, then they told you as plain in every way as possible that Jesus was coming in that generation, that Christianity would end, that that was the end of that age, and that now God would be all and in all. God has the world again. They told you all these things in every book. So the only person that you're not believing is the person you claim to have now. You claim to have Jesus, you claim to have the Holy Spirit. I don't claim to have the Holy Spirit, and I say that Jesus' work is done. He's no longer the thing to follow. He's not master, he's not king, he's not God. He sat on the throne for a while until his work was done in 70 AD, and he delivered the kingdom back up to God, and he became subject unto God so that God could be all and in all. The Bible is basically a true history book, but Jesus already returned. And I told you the truth. I told you what was actually happening, which means my doctrine is also true. And you guys who got it wrong means your doctrine is false and you're following the wrong thing. You believe you have the Holy Spirit, but everybody believes that. 2.2 billion people, 2.34 billion people believe that they have the Holy Spirit. They all think that God talks to them, and they all believe something different. That's because the Holy Spirit's over. It was poured out in the last days. That means there wasn't many days left. And it was only given as a comforter until Christ came back while he was away. Whenever Christ was there, the Spirit couldn't be given. Whenever Christ came back, again, there's no need for the Holy Spirit. That was something to put the laws of God inside of people until the law was fulfilled. And now you're trying to follow this spirit that's already done, and now it's evil to you. Because you're following a spirit of the law that was given under the law before the law was fulfilled. And that's why you're trapped in the Bible, and you're always going to be liars. And you're never going to understand, even though it's right in front of your face. So Jesus is your actual judge. Jesus will judge you because you tried to follow him whenever he's not there. It was kind of like Paul said, or Jesus said. Who said it? Jesus said, I don't judge you, you have one that judges you, Moses. Because that's who they trusted in. So I don't have to judge you. You've got somebody who judges you, Jesus, because you trust in him, but you don't believe his words. That he already came back and he was here to do a short work, and the coming of the Lord was nigh back then. And that he was coming in the clouds, and some of them standing there wouldn't taste death until he returned. And rewarded every man according to their works. And you won't understand the Bible. And you won't even believe or say that you lied about your prophecies. You won't even understand that God's not a liar, Jesus wasn't a liar, Jesus isn't a liar today, and that your prophecies and everything that you believe is wrong. But if you will understand that, you can change to the truth and believe the truth. And God told me, I didn't hear anybody else say it, but I meditated on camera and got up and told you exactly what God wanted me to say, and it is what happened. Donald Trump is not president, and the balance of power has shifted. And this is a judgment of God. So you got to follow God to be protected in the days ahead and really for your whole life. If you're a false prophet, pray that you'll find the truth and just stop with your same belief, because it doesn't work. And now that you've already said wrong things, if you don't change your belief, you're just going to say more. You're going to say, oh, I was wrong, I got it wrong. I used to be that way. I did it whenever I was in the Bible, and then I believed in not following the Bible and Jesus and the Holy Spirit only. And so, like I said, a lot of the prophecies about life, they came to pass whenever they were personal prophecies, because you're getting in the Spirit. But the things about Jesus, the end of the world and everything, they never come to pass. They're not going to come to pass. It's not going to happen.